Pray excuse my late arrival.
Will Thancred and Reen not be joining us?
Nay, milady. With apologies to all, they beg leave to pursue their investigation of the empty to its conclusion. Should matters here demand their presence, however, they did assure me that they would make themselves available.
Yes, of course. Then let us proceed. I think it best that you begin by providing a summary of Mistress Kryle's findings.
I suppose it was only to be expected that some change would occur.
Yet our souls seem unaffected, to my eye at least. How long they will remain so is another question. Kryle is right. It is imperative we find a way to return to the source.
Perhaps an explanation of the method by which I brought you here will yield some inspiration. Ere I begin, it must be noted that I am by no means a gifted mage. In order to employ powerful magics, I must rely upon the Crystal Tower and its boundless reservoirs of energy. The magic that summoned you was no exception. 'Tis a singular spell, adapted through painstaking effort from the technique that transported me to the First. To use an analogy, it works by cutting a hole in the fabric of reality. A hole tailored to the object of summoning, through which it and it alone may pass unscathed. Though I succeeded in creating said hole, I failed to latch onto my intended target. Instead of you, the spell found those close to you, and ended up summoning them in their incomplete state. I would not soon throw my life away, not after the lengths you and yours went to save it. And so long as I breathe, I will spare no effort to see you safely home. But should all else fail, and your lives be at stake, there remains one sure method.
Ow! What was that for?
How can you even entertain such thoughts? You owe your life to the Warrior of Light, and you don't get to die unless she says so.
Ah.
Your followers await your divine judgment.
What did you just...
If the two of you have finished, perhaps we could return to our discussion? Rather than dwelling upon the multiple failed attempts at transference, I think it would behoove us to focus on the solitary success. I would draw your attention to the fact that our friend can travel between worlds possessed not only of her body and soul, but her personal effects besides. This is no different from the teleportation magics to which we are all accustomed. Magics that allow for the transportation of those inanimate objects one considers to be an extension of oneself.
Are you suggesting that simply by considering us her possessions, she could carry our souls back to the source upon her person?
Well, it would be nice if things were that simple for a change. But vague notions of ownership seem a rather tenuous thing to stake our lives on. So much as a moment of doubt on her part and we'd be left floating in the rift.
Milady hath the right of it. The requisite fixity of belief would be too much to ask even of our friend. Yet were we to immure our souls within an object in her possession, mayhap then our safe passage could be assured. White Auracite would, I believe, serve as a suitable vessel for this purpose. It was conceived to imprison the massy soul of an Ascian, and should house one of ours with relative ease. We would need only to ensure our soul's safe preservation inside the stone, and identify a means by which they might be transferred back onto our vacant bodies.
Soul preservation and transference. I believe I know of someone who may be able to assist us. On the far shore of the source, there stands a great palace built by the elves. It was forsaken in the wake of the flood, but a certain Numo chose to make their home there soon after. Though they have long lived as a recluse, they once occupied a place of honor in Verbert's royal court, and it is said that none in all of Norvrand is more knowledgeable than they on matters of the soul.
Well, I've no objection to seeking a helping hand, but if they've gone to such lengths to hide themselves away from the world, what makes you think they'd be willing to lend us one?
A worthy question. Years ago, I myself tried and failed to solicit their cooperation in the battle against the Sin Eaters. No sooner had I begun to make my plea than they unleashed a swarm of their familiars upon me. Unlike me, however, you have curried favor with the Fae folk. By that merit alone, I am hopeful that they would grant you an audience. They may still be inclined to turn you away, of course, but if their knowledge might feasibly facilitate your return home, we have to try.
All right, finally got my mic turned back on anyways. Let's see. Yeah, not feeling too musically inspired this morning, just trying to pick through the one of the songs here on in the game. It looks like we got a new, what was it, a weapon we were getting? Yeah, high level 500 weapon. Yeah, it goes from 430 to 500. That's a big jump. Nice. And let's see, oh yeah, check the armory chest, make sure we're getting kind of full on the armory chest. I still got to get to my Grand Company and see what I can trade in here too. It's starting to get a little full on the hands and the legs too, it looks like. Unique or untradeable? What do those come from? I guess we got those from the quest. Okay, special gear from the quest. Yeah, we can dump those. Back when we were doing quests for, I guess, Heavensward. Retrieve that materia first. Couple materias in that one. those cannot be desynth. These can. Alright, well that's enough there. Grand Adventure. The Grand Cosmos, that is, the palace we seek, stands on the opposite shore of the source. I will arrange for a boat to carry us there. Whilst thou journeyest thither, I think it best that I devote mine energies to the creation of white auracite, by thy leave, of course. The process requireth no small amount of time, and should the Pneumo consent to lend us their aid, we will have need of a suitable vessel ere long. Agreed. Then I would ask the rest of you to meet me in Sullen, and do be prepared for a warm reception. I'm going to take this opportunity to jump back over to Ul'dah and see if I can turn in some stuff or free up some armory space here. Check in on my adventuring squad too. It's been way too long since I checked with them. Hey, they've been back from their deployment for who knows how many weeks now. It was a success. And the training finished. Alright. Did we get any more recruits? We have an arcanist here. I think I will not bother with an arcanist there. Oh, I need to check their chemistry. We've got a potential upgrade. What is it? When accompanying a marauder, experience earned is increased. That could be okay for now, since they're still low level. And when above 50, there's a 30... Yeah, that one's useless for now. When accompanying a marauder, okay, experience increase. That could be good too for them. When accompanying a Rogadin, 30% chance to receive warfare magics, which, okay. When accompanying a gladiator, experience earned is increased. We haven't made any gladiators yet. Or recruited any either. I think I'll just leave that one alone. Alright. Let's see what missions we could do here. Level 35 maybe. Not too likely. Search and rescue we might be able to do. Let's try that one. put them in there for some more training as well. Alright, let's get back out here now, see what we can trade in. Expert delivery. Alright. A number of things we can... Healing, flaws for monk, revolver for gunbreaker, bending. I don't know. We keep the aiming stuff for the dancer. I need to see if, well, that's right. I should see if dancer can put on anything new here that we've got. Doesn't look like it. We are hiding gear set items, so we don't need that, apparently. Alright, well let's drop those. We won't bother worrying about whether they would be good for fashion or not. Up all of our stuff. I'm going to buy up some materials here. Let's just grab coat here. We'll go back over and sell that later. Another 50,000 there. We get our Grand Company rank squad ranked up, and we'll be able to rank ourselves up, and then hold more Grand Company seals. Dump those. There we go. Alrighty then. Alright, so back to Sullen now and get this one underway. Crystarium. Outside the Crystarium to Sullen. As I told you before, I had scarcely set foot on the palace grounds when I was set upon by our host's familiars, and I expect our reception today to be no different, which is why I propose we march through the main gate, weapons drawn. I'm sorry, but are we not here to petition for assistance? You can't honestly think barging in looking for a fight is going to persuade them. Actually, I believe the Exarch may have the right of it. They have no doubt poured a great deal of time and energy into their creations. Were I them, I should be most interested to meet with those who could overcome my defenses, as would any true seeker of knowledge. And there is little we can say or do to convince them to help us if we know nothing of their character, nor less why they chose to hide themselves from the world. But if we can seize their interest, mayhap we can earn ourselves an audience. Weapons drawn it is, then. Though I must say, Exarch, you certainly seem to be enjoying all of this. Well, are you? Do I? Well, I will not deny that I enjoy the thought of fighting alongside you all rather than pacing about inside the Crystal Tower. You both seem to be in rather high spirits if you ask me. Not that I'm surprised. Your moods invariably improve when Anne is around. What exactly are you implying? She averted a calamity, and the light which seemed destined to consume her has been extinguished. 'Tis only natural that we be pleased to see her. Yes, well, you will have plenty of time to celebrate her good health after we've finished here. Of course. Then let us proceed to the palace. Yeah, the patches get us right into the action, don't they? Alright, well that's what we'll do. We'll jump into this one using duty support. Let's see. What choices do we have? Yeah, I guess I'll just leave it as is then. Alice is trigger happy to use those limit breaks. We'll let her just help us out here.
Leave the healing to me.
with you.
There. Materia and shoes of healing. Alright. Brace for the slaying. Alright, we gotta remember to put that on. Might be good for our dancer.
Be it!
On guard!
Leave the healing to me.
Bending. All right.
healing to me.
You have sullied these halls long enough. Come, Lugus, our guests yet want for company. Ooh, the insatiable flame, Lugus. War jacket of aiming too. That's cool. Didn't get anything new for Reaper. Try on some dancer stuff when we get out of here.
That was my fiercest familiar. Oh, impressive.
Backlogue, 'tis good to see you again after all these years. And judging by your vigorous greeting, I dare say the feeling is mutual. To be sure, a simple shake of the hand would have sufficed by way of welcome, but I shan't complain. But you must be wondering as to the purpose of our visit. We come to beg your assistance in a most urgent matter.
Shake? Beg?
Our comrades' very souls are in danger. If we are to save them, we will need the benefit of your unsurpassed knowledge on the matter. Please, will you not sit and hear our plea?
Oh, how dare you! How dare you speak thus in my presence! It was to escape such words of temptation that I hid myself from the world of men. You are sinners, one and all, and I swore never again to have any part in your affairs.
I can only imagine what terrible events forced you into a life of seclusion. But I know that the Numo are a good and noble folk. It is not in your nature to turn a blind eye to the plight of those around you. And in treating with us, I am certain whatever mistrust you feel for man will begin to heal.
If you will not be satisfied, I suppose I could listen. After all, there's no harm in just... No, I mustn't. Not again. That damn court mage seemed to have the best of intentions too, and countless innocents died for my naivety. Oh, you know not what you ask of me, what horrors my knowledge has wrought.
We would never misuse it.
You wish only to save your friends? Nothing more? Do you swear it?
Yes, on my honor as the warrior of light and dark.
No. No.
Oh, very well. I will hear your petition, but that is all. And I expect fitting payment for my troubles.
Commensurate with your contribution to our cause. No more and no less, I promise you. With that settled, might I impose upon you to join us at the Crystarium? I'm afraid the nature of my friend's predicament calls for absolute secrecy.
Alright, well that was a rousing success. There you are. The others have gone ahead to the Crystal Tower with Becklug. For the record, I truly wish we hadn't had to resort to using such words when treating with them. I have ever sought to convince, not compel, yet I cannot deny that a part of me is glad Urianger shared his knowledge of the Numo with us. Had he not, Becklug wouldn't be here. Speaking of whom, we should hurry. To keep our guest waiting would only add insult to injury. Oh yeah, let's change to Dancer and see what gear we got there. Some new gear. That'll get Dancer up to 413. Still 430 weapon, but that's cool. We mustn't dally here any longer, Anne. If Becklug is to hear the truth of our travails in the First, you of all people should be present.
I'm sorry. You mean to tell me not only that the return of night was your doing, but that you hail from another world as well?
Yep.
Everything we told you, of the source, the shards, the 7 umbral calamities, all of it is true. I realize how fantastical it sounds, and I would not blame you for doubting our testimony. But given your expertise, you must surely have noted the peculiar nature of their souls.
Any other time and I would have dismissed your stories as balderdash and flummery. But upon closer inspection, 'tis plain their souls are far denser than is normal, and that they do not possess true bodies. Save you. Your body is your own, and your soul is the densest of them all.
As I said before, were it not for their heroism, the skies over Norvrant would still be awash with light, the realm yet at the mercy of 4-3 and the Sin Eaters. After all they have done for our home, seeing them safely back to their own, it seems the very least we can do.
Your tale is intriguing. Yes, very intriguing indeed. Simply to hear it is fitting payment in itself. As for your friends, I can but agree. Their valorous deeds on behalf of Norvrant are deserving of recognition. of their own fitting payment.
You will help us then?
I will. I would see my knowledge put to good use for a change. I do have one condition, however. I am not the spry young Numo I once was. As such, I will require assistance in my fieldwork and testing.
It would be our pleasure. We'll be laboring for our own benefit after all.
You have spun quite a tale. But tell me, have you given any thought as to how you might return to your world? I take that as a yes. White Auracite, you say? An intriguing proposition, but one which fails to account for the present state of your souls. They have become highly charged, likely as a consequence of having maintained tangible forms for so long. In such an energetic, unstable state, there is no telling what may happen to their souls within the Auracite. They could very well become immutable to transference, never to be restored to their bodies. Then, would it be possible to force our souls into a state of dormancy prior to transference? In theory, yes, but the soul is not a candle to be snuffed out and relit on a whim. Well, that sounds ominous. What exactly would rendering our souls dormant entail? In order to maintain a corporeal form, your souls constantly draw ether from your surroundings. This process must be halted, and the resulting surfeit of ether removed. Your minds would ultimately be separated from these faux bodies of yours, rendering you incapable of interacting with the world around you. A cruel fate under normal circumstances, but one which will be rectified upon your return home. Leaving lifeless husks, like those poor souls at the inn at Journey's Head, corrupted by the Sin Eaters, their ether made stagnant by the light. Corrupted? Stagnant? Might I see these unfortunate individuals? Why? Do you think you might be able to help them? I might, or I might not, but I shan't know for sure until I have seen their condition firsthand. Then I would be glad to take you to them, on the understanding that you won't do anything which might increase their suffering. It was my faith in man I lost, not my compassion. Well, I see no need for all of us to accompany you. While you escort our guest to the inn, I will assist Urianger in creating the requisite Auracite. I believe my talents would be better applied to that endeavor as well. Might I leave the three of you to assist Becklug as necessary? Let us make for Amarang, then. What did I get there? Cosmos decoration. Oh, okay. So, this is Halric, is it? Yes, his etheric balance leans perilously toward the light. towards stasis. What do you suppose will happen to him? Not too bright, are you, boy? The same as all poor souls corrupted by the light. He will become a sin-eater. You don't know that. We've defeated the Wardens and banished the light from the night sky. Alaric was completely unresponsive before, but now... Then perhaps there is yet hope. If I may, there is a treatment I wish to administer to the patients. What sort of treatment? In the course of my studies of the soul, I once created a tonic which could temporarily stimulate the ether in one's body. After some refinement, it came to be used by the Knights of Verber. Then for darker purposes. Lest it fall into the wrong hands, I swore never again to make it. But for their sakes, I will break that oath. It is not like to reverse the stagnation, mind you, but it should offer some measure of relief. Okay, well, let's treat the patients with some of that soul tonic then. See what happens. What is this warmth I feel in my chest? Todd stares blankly at you. It would seem the tonic has had no effect. I feel warm. And my legs, they don't feel as heavy. Now then, have you noted any change in the patients? A notable rise in body temperature and increased motor function, in most of the patients at least. The more severely afflicted show no response. As I feared then. 'Tis true that with the restoration of night, the corrupting influence of light will no longer grow, and yes, their bodies will naturally return to equilibrium given time. But this holds true only for their corporeal ether. Their incorporeal ether, that of the soul, is not so easily mended. Which is why those in the later stages of corruption, like Alaric, appear unaffected by your tonic. Precisely. The boy's soul is too far gone, his mind held together by the finest of threads. There is a chance he may one day recover, of course, but it could take years, decades even. By the gods, he could wake to find himself an old man. A fine reward for his persistence. The opportunity to mourn the life he never had a chance to live. That is so sad to think about that. No, there must be something we can do. Look, I realize this is not why we petitioned your aid, but do you think it possible we can find a way to hasten their recovery? Maybe. Nor do I think it impossible that in treating them we might learn something of relevance to your own predicament. I suspect the Crystal Exarch has told you of my past, that I was once a mage of the royal court of Verbert, and that soulcraft was my field of study. The tonic you administered to the patients here is one of the fruits of my labors. I hope to do great things for the kingdom. But in the end, my knowledge brought only suffering, a plague the like of which none had ever seen. In the hands of unscrupulous men, what should have been my greatest triumph instead became my greatest shame. You mustn't dwell in the past. I know that only too well. Alas, the knowledge we require is steeped in such bitter memories. But let us return to the task at hand, finding a means by which we might revitalize these people's incorporeal ether. Do you think it can be done? Were the skies still ablaze with primordial light, I would call it an exercise in futility, but now we may have a chance. The method I have in mind will entail the conjuring of a familiar. They are able to amplify the energies poured into them, making them the perfect conduit for the ether revitalizing magics we will ultimately employ. If you're about to launch into a lengthy explanation of the metaphysics of your plan, don't bother. I'd rather get on with doing whatever it is that needs to be done, if it's all the same to you. Whatever reagents must be procured or spells invoked, I'll do it. I admire your spirit. Very well, your first task will be to gather the necessary materials. The purest of waters and finest of clays, as well as a fey lantern brimming with pixie magic. If you're convinced the resulting familiar could help the patients, fine. Alphino, the water and clay will be simple enough, but I think you know what we'll have to do to get the lantern. You don't mean... The pixies took quite a liking to us before. If we humor them with our company, I'm sure they'll be willing to help us. Fine, we'll pay a visit to Ilmeg, though I never thought you would be the one to suggest going back there. I'm impressed you've been there at all, let alone befriended the Fey folk. Oh, while you're about it, seek out the Numo of Pla Eni. They will be able to supply you with water suitable for our needs. Right, let's get this over with, shall we? There still remains the matter of the clay. Might I prevail upon you to find it? Okay. Clay from Amarang would likely be best. Know you of anyone who might be able to assist us? I could ask the miners at Twine. Ah, yes, they will be able to point you in the right direction, I am sure. While you and the twins are occupied, I will see if there is aught else I can learn of the stagnation which afflicts the people here. Yo, Magnus. Anne! Well, what a coincidence! You've come at a good time. We've just this moment finished repairing the Talos and trolley you lot took to Nabatharang. The trolley was no trouble, but the Talos would have been another matter had we not had a visit from Master Chai. He offered us a share of the leftover building materials from Daedalus Stoneworks, as well as a few trade secrets to help us along. Clever man, that Chai News. He seemed pretty keen on the ideas I had for putting the giant Talos to work. Like a giant trolley, but Magnus still refuses to see all the good we could do with it. You're entitled to your dreams, Jarek, but that doesn't mean you can go harassing our guests with them. Master Chai was just being polite. And something tells me Anne here didn't come all this way to talk about trolleys. What is it you need, friend? I see. And this familiar requires clay from Amarang? Well, look no further. If anyone can find you some quality clay, it's us. Saying that, it isn't exactly a commodity nowadays, but there must be some lurking somewhere or other, waiting to be dug up. If I'm not mistaken, there was a time when they used to take clay from Mount Biron mines to make adobe bricks. Place is swarming with coyotes now, but if you're after the good stuff, you could do worse than to look there. Alright, well let's run over there then and see if we can get us some clay. And there's a bird looking directly at that one. Okay. That's okay, we'll go ahead and fight him. What the heck? No experience for it. Oh well. The twins have returned, and in one piece at that. I was convinced the pixies would turn at least one of them into a garden ornament, but no. You have the clay, I take it? Yep. Wonderful. We need but combine the clay and the water, then heat the mixture with the Fey lantern. After that, it will be a simple matter of settling upon a suitable form and performing the necessary incantation. Becklug, I have a question. In the event that we had need of this spell and you weren't around, would it be possible for another to perform the incantation? Assuming they possess the requisite skill, yes. Halric and the others have suffered so much, and I swore to do everything in my power to save them. If there is a chance the spell could do that, I would be the one to invoke it. Mayhap you should be the one to do so. A deep understanding of the subject's physical state combined with a strong desire to help them can drastically increase the magic's effect, and you are plainly more familiar with these people than I. I dare say there are few in all of Norbranth more dedicated to finding a cure. Is that not so, Anne? Absolutely, she's the best woman for the job. I'll give it my all. For Halric. For Tesleen. Then we are all of a mind on the matter. Alice shall be the one to conjure the familiar.
Let us begin. I trust you've prepared the clay? Very good. Now, I would have you sculpt for me a porksy. Plump, with floppy ears and a short curly tail.
A porksy. I think I know what you mean.
We ran into a bunch in the dungeon there, Alice.
There we are. How's that?
Well, it is certainly creative. There's no denying that.
Yes, I'm no artist. Very funny.
Pay him no mind, child. Though it may look like a grotesque parody of reality, it is what the invoker believes that matters.
You're not helping.
But I speak the truth. If successful, this incantation will turn imagination into reality. Which is why the only thing of import is what you believe this figure embodies. You must focus. Hold the Porksy's image steady in your mind's eye. Now then, as I taught you, relax and allow your energies to flow.
With flesh of clay I bid thee rise, on wings of dreams to touch the skies. What once was idle fantasy, I call forth to reality.
Not bad for a first attempt. Now, let us see what can be done for young Halric. Through the operation of the magics you invoked to animate this familiar, it is now replete with the energies required to stir the boy's soul. You need but give it a name, and it will do as your heart desires.
A name. All right, I've decided. Now. Go, Angelo!
Oh my god.
Mother, I...
Well, that was certainly encouraging. And Angelo, that's Rinoa's dog in Final Fantasy VIII, isn't it? That's kind of funny. How is he, Becklug? Did it work? I believe it did. You and your fledgling familiar have done well. If my eyes do not deceive, a hint of color has returned to his soul. Gods, I would jump for joy if I weren't so exhausted. We're so close now, Halric. As you are even now in the process of discovering, this magic asks much of the invoker. What you may not have realized is that the same is also true of the subject. As such, we must proceed with caution. However, with further treatment, I have the utmost confidence the boy will make a full recovery. Wow, that would be awesome. Observing the reanimation of his stagnant soul has been most enlightening. I will need time to put my theories to the proof, but I believe I can fashion a spell to produce the opposite effect, that is, to induce stagnation, thus enabling our safe transport back to the source via Arasite. A thought occurred to me about this treatment. Becklug said, when the soul is rendered dormant, the mind is separated from the body, that a person becomes incapable of interacting with the world around them. Does that not sound a lot like some of the tempered back in the source? Not really. It is the fate of most tempered to become slaves to primals, save in a handful of cases. Or am I missing something? If I can master this technique, the art of revitalizing the soul, I know of at least one in the source who could desperately use such treatment. Aww. Thinking of Gabu. Exactly. His condition is uncannily similar to Halric's, is it not? The only difference being that his soul was suffused with earth-aspected ether instead of light. It follows that if his soul is subject to a similar kind of stagnation, there may be a chance we can save him, right? Forgive me, but who is this Gabu fellow of whom you speak? I see. His condition does sound similar, yet there is much and more about the soul that remains unknown even to me. I say this not to discourage you, you understand, but to remind you that this is delicate work we do here, work requiring patience. Of course, and as long as there is hope for the patients here, I will devote whatever time is needed to see it through. But I refuse to spend that time in idleness. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to stay here with Angelo and continue with their treatment. The two of you should return to the Crystarium with Becklug and see if you can't make some headway with the newly posited theories. I would tell you to rest first, but I see you're not to be convinced. Ah, the fire of youth. Let us return to the Crystarium then. Finally, I found you! What's up? Kaishir? What are you doing all the way out here? There's trouble back in Yulemore. Lady Chai's beside herself, sighing, pacing, the whole lot. Near enough begged me to go and find you. Sighing and pacing, you say? It must be urgent. I take it I will be returning to the Crystarium alone. Go on then. It's not as if I have anything for you to do. Thank you, Becklug. Sorry for bothering you and all that, but she says the future of Yulmore is at stake. Okay. Lady Chai's up in the parlor. Best not keep her waiting, eh? Absolutely. Best not keep them waiting. Oh, we should have access to the... Yep, the gear exchange up here now. Okay, well that's good to know. If we need to get us some new gear. What do we got now? We got 500s and 430s. Could use some... Yeah, we could stand to have a few upgrades, couldn't we? We still got some level 70 gear on there. And that Menfina's only good up to level 80 anyways. 77, 79, and 80 there. We'll keep an eye on that. Well, not here seems out of the ordinary, though I do not see Lady Chai anywhere. Probably pacing around outside again, staring off into the distance and all that. Sighing. Strange. Let's see if we can find her and discover the source of her distress.
You're here.
Lady Chai, whatever is the matter?
I knew not where else to turn. Oh, this is all too much for my poor heart to bear alone.
Alone? What of Master Chai?
But that is the very reason I summoned you. He's gone.
What? What happened?
It all began after the events at Mount Gulg. With Lord Vorthry out of the way, we all agreed that a new leader must be chosen.
And so you held an election?
Yes, well, sort of. Not a single person volunteered to stand, you see. After a lifetime of leisure, we free citizens have grown somewhat indolent. Readapting to the harsh realities of life is trying enough, but to take charge of a broken city as well? No one wanted such responsibility. Nevertheless, Yulmore could not well do without a leader, and so we decided that anyone and everyone should be considered a candidate. And after we cast our ballots and tallied the votes, the mayorship fell upon my dear husband.
Well, given the manner in which he orchestrated the construction of the giant Talos, none could deny his leadership qualities.
But even before then, he had proven himself at Daedalus Stoneworks, don't forget. He is more than qualified for the role. The perfect choice. Indeed. I told him as much when his victory was first announced. But perhaps I was too forceful in my attempt to encourage him. for shortly after that he vanished without a word.
You believe he was so daunted by the burden of leadership that he felt compelled to flee? Please, Lady Chai, dry your eyes. Your husband does not strike me as the sort of man who would abandon his duty, much less his beloved wife. There has to be some other reason for his absence.
You truly think so? What about you? What do you think has become of my husband?
I don't know, but wherever it is, he won't have fled.
And there you have it, Lady Chai. You needn't worry. Master Chai loves you more than all the world, and he will return. Wherever he may have gone, rest assured we will find him.
Thank you, my dear boy. You have set my mind at ease. I will trust in my husband and await his return.
It makes no sense for Master Chai to have left without a word, but even if he had, he would not have done so unobserved. Someone here will have seen something, I'm sure of it. We should split up and inquire as to whether anyone saw him leave, or, failing that, if they have any idea where he might have gone. I will meet you at the Glory Gate to compare notes later on. Master Chai? Why, yes, I spoke with him recently, though I recall he was in a rather dour mood. Concerned about Yulmore's neglect of industry, you see. With Lord Vothry's apparently inexhaustible stores of meal, and no great need for money, it's little wonder our businesses were all but forgotten under his rule. But I assured Master Chai that the Boutique of Splendors will do all it can to contribute to the revival of trade here in Yulmore, which seemed to satisfy him. He took his leave soon after. That taught me about the stagnant state of business in Yulmore. All right. Then to the buttress and the derelicts. All right. Let's see. There and there. Go here. Here. Go north. Yeah, don't care about the overwrought Ondo right now. Hey, Hathenbet. Aye, I recall a man fitting that description. Asked to speak with the poor buggers lately come from right. Said he wanted to know the state of things down in the derelicts. And you can be sure we gave him an earful. Lack of food, medicine, clothing. There was plenty to tell. We hunt high and low for whatever we can scavenge, and it's barely enough to fill our bellies. But folk here don't just want to survive, they want to thrive. When he heard that, he started mumbling to himself, something about finding us work, I think. Fair play to him, though. Not content with having his ear chewed about the derelicts, he asked about the other settlements and all. After that, I can't really say. Looked like he was headed for Gatestown when I last saw him. Learn about the poor living conditions of Calusia's downtrodden. Alright, we'll just run back down here in port, I think. Looking for Master Chai, are you? Is something amiss? When last I saw him, he seemed ready to collapse from exhaustion. I insisted he rest and catch his breath, and we talked for a while about his concerns over the city's defenses, amongst other things. He made more than a few valid points. Many of our men are still recovering after your confrontation with Lord Vothry, and finding General Ranjit in a heap in the middle of the plaza shook us all to the core. The man commanded no small amount of loyalty, and some of our longest-serving soldiers seemed lost without him. Indeed, a number of them left. Not that we blame you, of course. Without you and yours, we would still be blind to the error of our ways. Anyway, funding permitting, I proposed replenishing our ranks with volunteers from the derelicts in Gate Town. We have a duty to protect not only Yulmore, you see, but the surrounding regions of Calusia as well. And I, for one, would welcome any man or woman willing to take up arms for that cause. Indeed, I told him as much, and he seemed relieved to hear it. It was on that note that we parted ways. He headed outside, as I recall. And we learn about the perilous state of Yulmore's defenses. Alright, let's compare notes, Alphino. Ah, there you are. How did you fare? Have you learned anything which might offer a clue as to Master Chai's whereabouts? I learned 3 things. Interesting. He apparently paid a visit to the Queen Bee as well. They discussed the possibility of granting admission to customers from outside Yulmore, an idea to which the proprietor was surprisingly receptive. Sounds like he's got big plans for the place. Yulmore, I mean, not the Bee. Perhaps, but the question remains, where did he go after leaving the city? All we know for certain is that Master Chai has shown great concern not only for Yulmore, but its surrounding settlements. It seems logical, then, that having consulted those within the city walls, he would wish to do the same to those without. And if you would go and make inquiries in Wright, I shall do likewise in Stilltide. Gate Town I leave to you, Kaishir. Fair enough. Where should we meet when we finished? Well, Top Rung would seem to me to be his next most likely destination. Let us reconvene there. With any luck, one of us will have stumbled upon him by then, but if not, we will be well situated to continue our search. No, the name doesn't ring any bells, but there was a rather dapper-looking Mistel gentleman here not long ago. He wanted to talk about relations between Wright and Yulmore, or rather the lack of them. We lost a great many people to their promises of meal and the chance of a lavish life among the free. And Vothry thought to take even more from us, conscripting the few able-bodied men we had left to guard his paradise. I needn't tell you what happened when the Sin Eaters came. Such things are hard to forgive. But Vothry's gone now, and we're curious to see what will become of Yulmore in his absence. That's what I told your friend. Chai News, was it? And I'm sure the others said the same. Not what he wanted to hear, I suppose, because he left soon after. And that was that. So, he paid a visit to both Wright and Gate Town as well, did he? I see. Kaishir and I gleaned much the same. He seems determined to salvage what goodwill might yet remain among the settlements of Calusia, the only likely place he has left to go, being Amity. Come, if we are quick, we may yet catch up with him. Hey, Chai News. Anne, Alphino, Kaishir, what are you doing here? We might ask you the same, Master Chai. We have been looking all over for you. Looking for me? Whatever for? Lady Chai has been nigh inconsolable in your absence. She claims you disappeared with so much as a word and bade us return you to her side. What in blazes are you talking about? I left a letter for her in our chambers. Though I suppose she could have overlooked it. And when she gets an idea into her head, I can only apologize. No harm done, Master Chai, but since we are here, might I ask what compelled you to come all this way? We were told you had been elected mayor, and from what we have gathered from the nearby villages, you have been inquiring about the people's grievances. Is it safe to assume you mean to take office? Now, let's not jump to conclusions. I did seek to learn about the problems faced by the people of Calusia, that much is true, but I am by no means sure I am the man to solve them. Tackling our many challenges will require resources, and until I have secured them, it would not be right to assume the role of mayor. I see. And you believe said resources can be found here? Indeed. The people's grievances are many, but in the course of my inquiries, I have already met with several individuals willing to lend their aid in addressing them. However, there remains one individual crucial to my plans, a man whose counsel might yet make a mayor of me. With respect, such forethought is, in itself, proof of your suitability. The city needs you, Master Chai, and I am certain this man of whom you speak, whoever he may be, will reach the same conclusion. For what little it is worth, we will vouch for you should he require convincing. Whatever you need, you can count on us. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. You've got your actions to speak for you. For as long as I can remember, all I ever wanted was to make it into Yulemore, but that dream's gone now, burst like a bubble, or a boil, more like. Anyway, outside of repaying Master Alphino, I haven't had a clue what to do with myself. Spent most days in a daze. But you've been running up and down trying to find a way to fix this mess for everyone. And I reckon you can do it. You got this lot up Mount Gould, didn't you? How hard could marrying be? You're going to steer Yulemore to a better future, I know it. And I want to help. Properly help. Do something that makes a difference. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll work it out on the way. If you let me come with you, that is. You give me entirely too much credit, the lot of you, but I can't deny it gives me heart. Come then, let us press on together. Thank you, Master Chai. But we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. Yulemore needs more than a man with good intentions, which is why I am here, to find one with the experience needed to see the city thrive. Who is this man exactly, and are you certain he's here in Amity? Rendon is his name, and yes, he is. Or was. I had scarcely begun to explain myself when he decided his time was better spent elsewhere. He served as chief advisor to Vothri's father when he was in office. If Ranjit was the mayor's right hand, one might say Rendon was the left, and between them, they kept Yulmore on the road to prosperity. The city needs more than a mere man of business, which is why I must find him. But even if you do, what makes you think he will listen? Before giving chase, might it not be wise to speak with those who know him here in Amity? They may be able to shed some light on his reason for rejecting your overtures out of hand. Yes, I suppose that makes sense. Perhaps we should start with Tristal then. As I recall, you made rather a favorable impression on him. I'm certain he would be willing to talk to us. Greetings, friend. And to you too, Master Chai. I presume you're here to ask after Rendon? I couldn't help overhearing your earlier exchange. Yes, well, with Vothri gone, Yulmore wants for a leader. Should no one rise to the challenge, the city could very well collapse. I came here seeking Rendon's counsel in the hope that we could build a better Yulmore together, and that is still my wish. But given how abominably you were mistreated there, I will quite understand if you choose not to help. Worry not, Master Chai. I bear no grudge against you or the people of Yulmore, and I would not see you suffer for Vothri's villainy. As you no doubt gathered from your meeting earlier, Rendon can be rather uncompromising. He has his principles, you see, and little patience for anyone he deems less committed to their own. Your desire to right the wrongs of your past, or of Yulmore's past, is quite admirable, but I fear the guilt you bear on the city's behalf works against you. I can see it in your eyes, in the way you carry yourself. It goes without saying, he sees it as well. You must let those feelings go, Master Chai. Be more assertive, commit to this course, and prove to him Yulmore has the resolve to change. The resolve to change. I believe he was headed towards Pit 8 when he left. If you plan to go and speak with him, I suggest you be firm and clear in your intentions. Very well, to Pit 8 we shall go, and I will not take no for an answer, nay, not even a maybe.
Well, well, it's you again. Well, I see you've invited your friends. Need them to fight your battles for you, do you?
No, I didn't invite them, as it happens, though they are indeed my friends. Not only mine, but every true Yulmoran's. They are the ones who awakened us to the truth, to Lord Vothri's villainy, the famous warriors of darkness.
Are they now?
Yes, they are. It would be no exaggeration to call them our saviors. We owe much and more to their kindness, but we cannot depend on that kindness forever. To do so would be a little different from entrusting our affairs to Lord Vothri. Nay, we must learn to stand on our own 2 feet. And I would have them present to witness my attempt.
Hear, hear, Master Chai.
Your sentiments are admirable. Yet admirable sentiments do not a nation make. In my capacity as advisor, I once strove to build a better Yulmore. gave honest counsel to my superiors, drafted laws for the benefit of one and all. But in time, my values fell out of favor. There was no need for them in this paradise Vorthri was creating. And so I left my homeland behind. But you, Chai News, you were content to wallow in indolence under Vorthri's auspices. And so I cannot help but ask myself what manner of nation you intend to build.
I can offer no simple answer to that question. But this much I will say. It is my hope that Yulmore can become a nation which her citizens might freely choose to build together. A great many people, myself included, flocked to Yulmore seeking sanctuary. The alternative being to live in fear and die in pain. It seemed an easy choice. And sanctuary we found. As much food and drink as we could ever want. Secured at the cost of the surrounding villages. Little wonder the people gathered at our doorstep, begging to work among the bonded. The free were blind to it all, of course. Content to, as you say, wallow in indolence. In ignorance. Were I mayor, I would first take stock of the city's resources and see that they were assigned equitably. Our days of reckless consumption are behind us. The distinction between free and bonded died with Vorthri. The needs of rich and poor alike must be considered if our nation is to survive. To which end I would take steps to secure channels for supplies, rekindle relations with nearby settlements, who re-establish industry, reach out to neighboring nations, and the list goes on and on. But I am no ruler, nor even a politician. I am an entrepreneur. My expertise lie in planning and profit. I haven't the knowledge or experience to run a nation. Please, Rendon, will you not help me? Together, we could solve the city's problems. Build a Yulmore for the people.
A Yulmore for the people. I rather like the sound of that. But before I offer you my counsel, I would be certain of your ability to perform the duties of office.
You would?
You ask me to help you solve Yulmore's problems, but first I would see you solve one on your own. Accomplish that, and you will prove both to me and the people that you are a man worth following.
Alrighty. What do we do here? Right then. Is there a particular issue you would have me resolve? You seem to have conducted an assessment of the problems Yulmore now faces. I assume you will agree, therefore, that the matter of dwindling food stores is the most pressing. Ah, yes, meal being neither a desirable nor less sustainable option. I assume alternative foodstuffs are now required to fill the void. And a man who hungers is not like to contribute much to society, save violence, perhaps. So tell me, how do you propose to solve this problem? Give me a satisfactory answer and I will consider offering you my counsel. A combination of measures would seem to be in order, one to address the immediate issue of supply and another, that of production. Go on. For the present, Yulemore's coffers can be used to purchase food from our neighbors. This would afford us time to address the underlying problem that affects us all, the long-standing neglect of agriculture. The villages that once served as sources of trade for foodstuffs must be repopulated, their means of production restored. This assumes, of course, that we can rekindle relations with our neighbors, guarantee security and stability in the region, and most importantly, find people willing to leave the city and take up the rebuilding effort. My. Think of that all by yourself, did you? Well, yes. It began as a rather abstract plan I drafted some time ago after speaking with the peoples of Yulemore and the nearby settlements. Huh. You've impressed me, Chai News. I have? Well, that is a relief. Oh, you haven't secured my support just yet, only my attention. Grand plans will not be enough to persuade the masses. If you would ask them to rebuild, you must provide them the means to do so. A fair point, Rendon, and one to which I have given much thought. I propose the use of Talos to aid in the establishment and maintenance of these settlements. Their employment should drastically improve efficiency and ultimately increase production. Talos? But Daedalus Stoneworks closed their doors years ago. Without a ready supply of the necessary equipment, the people would starve before your plans could be put into effect. Well, as the heir to Daedalus Stoneworks, it just so happens that Talos are my field of expertise. And with a little help, I'm quite certain we can acquire what we need in no time at all. Rendon is quite right. Building Talos from scratch would require time we simply do not have, which is why I propose to make use of the long-abandoned Talos which wander the wilds of Calusia. They will need to be deactivated, of course, and if memory serves, the tools required to do so should still be at top rung. Come with me. Aha, the old memory hasn't let me down. This chest contains canisters filled with a dashingly potent insulating powder capable of halting the flow of ether in a Talos. We need only get within throwing distance of one and let fly, thus disabling them without damaging them. Ingenious. An old trick of the trade, nothing more. Once disabled, it should be a simple enough matter to get them to march to Yulemore. More extensive repairs can wait. Ordinarily, this is where I would ask you to run along and do the deed, but as I have said before, it's high time we learned to stand on our own 2 feet. Thankfully, throwing canisters is something even I should be able to manage. Come off it, Master Chai. Even if the Talos ain't a threat, there's 101 other things out there waiting to make a meal of you. That's as may be, Kaishir, but Rendon tasked me with solving this problem, and I will not sit idly by while others risk everything to see my harebrained schemes realized. Not this time. Which isn't to say the mere thought of it doesn't fill me with dread. Truth be told, I can't feel my legs. But if I'm to prove I'm a man worth following, I must lead by example. Well said, Master Chai. Here, here. Yes, well, it should go without saying that I have no intention of dying for this. I've always preferred living to see the fruits of my labors. And to make sure I do, I will require your help. It is as Kaishir says, these lands are dangerous if one is not careful. I would ask you to use my spyglass to look out for any beasts that could get in the way of my work. I will also need you to alert me when it is safe to subdue the Talos. Understood? Good, then let's be off to the quick way, through the north gate, and see if we can't find a suitable vantage point for you. Destination. Here we are. Alright, we're going to keep a lookout here for Master Chai's. Go, go, go. Yeah. I did it. I did it. Let's move on to another Talos, shall we? All right. Gotta watch those other things there. I think we made it. All right. I do believe I'm getting the hang of this. You may leave the next one to me, Anne. Good job, Master Chai. Haha, that should do it. Now we have all we need to proceed. All right, good job. I can scarcely believe it. It was a reckless, foolish plan, but somehow it worked. I did it. Master Chai, I believe I owe you an apology. Your plan to replenish Yulmore's food stores showed forethought and sound judgment. What's more, It is plain your time at Daedalus Stoneworks has equipped you to lead, as evidenced by the extraordinary company you keep. You, sir, are more than qualified to be the next mayor of Yulmore. I thank you for your vote of confidence, but the fact remains I am wholly ignorant of the world of politics, which is why I would ask you to join me and grant Yulmore the benefit of your counsel. I would be honored. When the people behold these Talos, I have no doubt they will lend you their support. It would seem Yulmore's leadership is at last in capable hands, would you not agree? We should probably be getting back soon, Master Chai. After you've tinkered with the Talos and all that, Lady Chai is worried sick.
Right then, form a line and make for Yulmore.
What's that noise? Wicked White! Runaway Talos! Call the guard! Stay back! All of you!
Is that... Darling, you're back.
But of course I'm back. You didn't see... Dearest, I can't...
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry, my darling. It's just the sight of you filled me with such joy, I couldn't help myself.
Oh, no, it's all right, dear. I should have just come out and said what it was I was intending, instead of entrusting the task to a hastily scribbled letter.
Does that mean you'll do it?
Well, I'm here, aren't I? I mean, not that my absence signified any unwillingness, you understand? Oh, no, naught could be further from the truth. I only left to enlist the aid of the former mayor's senior advisor. And now that I have it, I believe I am ready to take office.
Oh, how wonderful!
Yay!
Please!
That was quite a reception, one Master Chai will struggle to forget. More seriously, the arrival of the Talos has seized the public's attention. Once word is spread around Yulmore, it will be that much simpler to gather one and all so that Master Chai can make his inaugural address. No need to fret, Anne. I have never felt better. And not at all overawed by the prospect of addressing the assembled masses of Yulmore. As for where to do it, if we're to accommodate everyone who might feasibly wish to attend, I suppose the only place large enough would be the Emergent. Then I will go and spread the word among the citizens, both free and bonded, that they are to assemble there to meet their new mayor. You there, Kaishir, was it? Would you go and inform the residents of Gatetown and the derelicts? Of course I will. Good lad. I will let the guards know not to bar the way to Vothri's chambers. It goes without saying that I expect the Warrior of Darkness to attend, assuming she's available. Might as well see it through to the bitter end, eh? The doorman at the Crown Lift will show you up. Ah, yes. Master Chai told us to expect you. The Emergent is already filling up with people of all persuasions, free and bonded, citizens and non-citizens. But for you, our guest of honor, we have reserved a place at the front. Right this way, miss.
Go on, dear.
Thank you all for gathering here today. But before going any further, could I ask the free citizens of Yulmore to look around? 'Tis a sight none of us would ever have seen under Lord Vothri's rule. Not only do we stand in the familiar presence of those we once called the Bonded, but today we welcome the peoples of the Derelicts and Gatetown too. Today we welcome the Warriors of Darkness, come to bear witness to Yulmore's new beginning. As you know, an election was recently held, at the end of which I had the honor of being chosen to succeed Lord Vothri. You place great faith in me, and I promise to do my utmost to live up to your expectations, and I will seek always to carry out the duties of this office with integrity and fairness. Always, I say, but not forever. Let it be known that I do not intend to hold this post indefinitely. I consider myself but an acting mayor, who will serve only for the interim, while Yulmore is reshaped according to a new set of values. No longer can we think of ourselves as divided, as the free and the bonded, citizens and non-citizens. The systems put in place by Lord Vorthry must be undone. But even as we tear down the old, we must give thought to the new, to what manner of nation Yulmore should become. Whatever the answer may be, it cannot be decided by one man alone. And so I propose that an open forum be held, that we might all discuss how best to strive towards a better future. However, there can be no talk of the morrow unless we first address the issues of today. Securing new sources of food, rebuilding relations with our neighbors, re-establishing industry. There is much and more that needs to be done. Too much for a mere man of business. And so I pledge instead to do everything in my power to ensure our city's security and stability while we all work together to see these problems solved. The road before us will not be easy, and I know full well how daunting the prospect of honest labor may seem to some of you. But we must accept the reality of our circumstances. We must move forward. This much we owe to ourselves and to the brave heroes who risked their lives to bring back the night. Once we have shored up our city's foundations and regained some semblance of normality, let us reconvene to speak of the future. Until then, I humbly ask that you lend me and each other your strength. For Yulmore!
That was a fine speech, Master Chai. I believe your words stirred every soul in attendance. Stirred them to action, I hope. If I have learned anything from all of this, it is that change begins with the individual. Tis but a matter of finding the strength to take the first step. Assuming my fellow Yulmorans can, it shall be my honor and privilege to help them walk this road we have chosen. But we must not forget the individuals who made all of these changes possible. Were it within my power, I would carve a tribute to your heroism into the very stone upon which this city stands. I hate to change the subject, darling, but now that you have officially taken office, have you given any thought to your mayoral seat? We will not be moving into the emergent, dearest. It's too big for one thing and too far from the people for another. We will retain our current residence, and I will govern here in the parlor. Oh, I was hoping you'd say that. I much prefer the view from the parlor. Begging your pardon, Master Chai, but have you got time for a word? Yes, of course. Hathen, Bet? Aye, that's me. I liked your speech, but there's folk outside these walls as don't even have enough food to last till tomorrow, and more who are counting their crumbs. If you've a plan to change that, I want to help set things in motion. Then we've much to discuss. No sooner do I take office than my work begins in earnest. Well, I suppose I brought it upon myself. Thank you again for your help, Anne. I hope to see you again before long. What a day. I don't know what it means exactly, but I do know I've got plenty to think about. I sense we all have a great deal to consider. I had resolved to remain here until such time as Yulmore's future was secured, but it is clear to me now that the city is in capable hands. I have every confidence they will find their way, and I believe it is time we went on ours. So, Alphino's leaving too, is he? Seems like everyone's moving on. Everything's changing. I've been thinking about what I should do in all this. Like I told you, I spent most of my life dreaming about living here with my friends, in paradise. That paradise is gone, but something better's taken its place, and I reckon I want to be part of it. This Yulmore for the people Master Chai's been going on about ain't going to build itself after all. Not that I'm much of a builder. Me and my friends will find a way to make a difference, though. Help keep things changing for the better. A far nobler dream than the one to which you clung before, and one I am happy to say we share. Whatever path you choose, I will pray for your success. Well, when you put it like that, there's no going back now, is there? We've got a few ideas on how we can do our bit, just a matter of taking the first step. Vows of virtue, deeds of cruelty. Truly, to see Kai Shir thus inspired by our actions is inspiring in itself. Yet, however much I may wish to stay and see what comes of his efforts here at Yulmore, we have matters of our own to attend to. Come, we should return to the Crystal Tower. Mayhap Becklug's studies have borne fruit in our absence. And I will go ahead and unlock Kai Shir here as well. Anne, have you got a moment? I've been wanting to have a word. Is it true you're an expert carpenter? Well, that's just one of my many, many talents. Is there anything you can't do? Alphino says you've been dealing with the Boutique of Splendors and all, and not just anybody can do that. Anyhow, I asked because I was hoping to get your help with something. Bit of a project of mine as it goes. Since I decided to stay here in Yulmore, I've been trying to find ways for people like me to contribute to the future of the city. Thing is, I've never learned a trade or nothing like that, so I was struggling to come up with ideas. After a lot of thinking, I put together a pretty decent plan, but I could do with your professional opinion and maybe a bit of help if you're up for it. What do you say? Yeah, be happy to. It's for a good cause, I promise. I've asked a couple of old mates to meet us outside the beehive, so I'll see you there. First things first, let me introduce you. This here's Anfrig, who serves his drinks shaken, not stirred. Yes, as the saying goes here in the beehive, fancy a shake? Reactions vary, as I'm sure you can imagine. It's a pleasure to meet you. And this is Bastazia. I also work in the beehive, though my talents tend more towards whining and dining, winding and grinding, whatever our patrons desire. Anyway, a friend of Kaishir's is a friend of ours. We grew up together in Gatetown, close as family. All three of us are orphans, so we had to stick together to survive. We shared everything we had, right down to our last crust of, well, whatever was available. That's why we promised each other that we'd find a way into Yulmore no matter what it took. But Anfrig and I were chosen while Kaishir was left behind. I can't tell you how glad we were to be reunited with him after so long apart. We've been through a lot, him more than most, but we're all here now. I never thought I'd see the day. I hate to say it, but the way things are going, there might not be reason for us to stay in Yulmore. So much has changed since the fall of Vothri, and business at the beehive has really dried up. While I am all for this city becoming a fairer place to live, we need to face facts. At this rate, places like the beehive will struggle to stay afloat. If we were to be let go, the chances of us finding similar work here would be slim at best. You're not thinking about leaving Yulmore, are you? To be honest, we don't have much choice. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I said I'll sort something out, didn't I? I've got a plan to bring visitors into Yulmore, and I want you two to be part of it. It's also why I brought Anne here. Her skills as a carpenter are going to solve all of our problems, I swear. Well, well, how wonderful it is to see my employees engaged in such lively conversation. The Queen Bee! Sorry, sir, I'll get back behind the bar. No, as you are. In fact, Mistress Moen and I were discussing ways in which the beehive's fortunes might be improved. It was then that we overheard you, and my ears pricked up when you mentioned the possibility of attracting new customers to Yulmore. Given the current state of affairs, this would be most welcome. Would you share your ideas with me, young man? I ain't a businessman or nothing, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm off the mark here, but... Hey, Sompter boy, welcome in. How are you doing today? Seems to me that under Vothri, Yulmorans forgot what it means to actually work for a living, and most of the old industries disappeared altogether. Still, there are a few things left over from those days that we can put to good use. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you're doing fine. Do you play Final Fantasy XIV yourself? Such as? Oh, you're into raiding. Oh, cool. The streams have been doing pretty good. We're just doing a non-skipped playthrough here. We started back at level 1. We're here at the end of Shadowbringers currently, and we'll be making our way through whatever the latest story content is in Endwalker eventually. Oh, Savage raiding. Boy, yeah, that's beyond me. I'm not too good with the extremes in the Savage. I stick mainly just to the story, and like crafting and gathering is important for me. But yeah, I admire those of you who can take on the Savage raiding for sure. Oh, it is, isn't it? It is pretty amazing. The stories in particular and the music that they put in here. Oh, it's so good. The atmosphere that they build is just superior. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. They sure do know how to tell a story and keep it moving along. The entertainment. Yulmorans ain't the only ones who like to have a good old knees up, you know. If we open up the city of final pleasures to visitors, we'll be raking in the gill. I can't wait for the next patches. The story is really intriguing right now. Ah, okay. Yeah, I bet it is. They do a pretty good job of leading up to the end of the whatever the current release is. And we'll be sitting on the edges of our seat until 7.0 probably. And what better way to do that than telling everyone about the Beehive? Of course, word of mouth will only get us so far. But if you put me in charge of promoting your establishment, I'll do whatever it takes to bring in people from every corner of Norvrant. I say, your enthusiasm is positively infectious. And for a self-confessed amateur, I find you remarkably persuasive. Oh, this is just unlocking deliveries, the collectible deliveries to Kai Shear here in Yulmore at the end of Shadowbringers. This is a crafting, this is a crafting side quest here. And that's another thing we're doing. We're taking all of our crafters and gatherers all the way from level 1 up to 90 as well as we go through the story here. I just happened to be able to unlock this one while we were working on the story for Shadowbringers, and once this one finishes up, we're headed back over to the Crystarium to continue on there. I, for one, think it's a marvelous idea. Wouldn't you agree? I don't think it's very hard to level, really. Just have to spend some time sometimes working on it, but they make it pretty easy, especially once you get up to level 50 and through the Realm Reborn crafting series. You can always do Grand Company turn-ins, for example. Once you've unlocked that, become a member of the Grand Company, you can just turn in the craft of the day for each crafting and gathering job, and that gives you a lot of experience there. So it's really not too bad, I guess, getting those leveled up. Once you get into Heavensward and unlock collectibles, it's pretty fast to get those done too. And these delivery quests, they've added a bunch of those for all the releases from Heavensward onward. So there's always something you can do to get a lot of experience almost every day if you spend some time on your crafters and gatherers. So It's not too bad. I'll probably have to spend a few streams at the end of Shadowbringers here right before we start Endwalker to get my Crafters and Gatherers finished up, but other than that, it's been pretty easy just moving forward with it. Yes, this is certainly in line with Master Chai's aim to foster trade with outsiders. As far as I can see, the Beehive stands only to gain from this most worthy of endeavors. Oh, thinking of getting into crafting after doing all the raids. Oh, yeah. Which one do you think would be the best one to start with? Well, I don't think that there's any best. I prefer to do them all, actually, in parallel. The thing is, if you get up to some places where you need items crafted for one of the jobs, one of your other crafter jobs could actually make it instead of having to buy it off of the market board. And if you're leveling your gatherers, your mining and botany in particular, you can go out and gather the materials instead of having to buy them off the market board. So it kind of makes sense, but you do have to invest some time into that. And not everybody enjoys crafting and gathering, but if it's something you like to do, try it out. Maybe it's something you will enjoy doing. So I would say just pick one, start, and I suggest unlocking them all if you can. I am therefore placing you in charge of advertising the Beehive. Oh, okay, a lot of your friends do crafting and gathering? Yeah, just see if you like it. And like I said, it's not for everybody, but there are those of us who really do kind of enjoy it. It's a nice thing to just do while you're doing other things too. You could be watching a movie and just working on your crafters and gatherers, or watching streams, for example, like this, and just doing those on the side as well. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for stopping in, Sombra Boy. I'm glad you checked us out. I hope you'll check us again another time. We will be doing more Final Fantasy XIV tomorrow as well. It was great talking to you, too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Cool. We will look forward to seeing you come here again then. See ya. Since I have a vested interest in the success of this undertaking, the Boutique of Splendors will gladly grant rewards for bringing much-needed custom to our doorstep. But first, you will need to look the part, and I have the perfect ensemble in mind. In the meantime, I would have the two of you resume your duties. When the time comes, I should like you to provide assistance in any way that you can. Our knowledge and expertise are at Kai Shear's disposal, sir. I gather that you are here at the lad's request, yes? I can only guess as to what it may entail, though I dare say all shall become clear soon enough. I bid you good day. Alright, looks like we get this unlocked okay. I'm surprised you recognize me in this getup. Yeah, looking snazzy there, Kai Shear. I have to tell you, I ain't used to wearing anything like this. Still, if I'm to advertise a place like the Beehive, I suppose I've got to look the part. Not that it really matters for our first task, though. While I was getting measured for my outfit, I was thinking of how we could convince everyone to come and spend their hard-earned coin in the beehive. Rather than shouting from the rooftops, it'd be a lot easier if we gave out flyers everywhere. I ain't just talking about a handful, though. I'll need hundreds, and that means I'll need paper, ink, and something to print them with. That last one's the trickiest, but it'll speed things up like no one's business. Do you think you could get those for me? There was one other thing. Oh, right, payment. Of course, I ain't expecting you to do it for free. I'll be getting scripts and whatnot from Owen, so I'll send a few your way. That sound all right to you? Yeah, we love scripts. Thanks, I owe you one. Or I will once everything's been sorted out. All you have to do is bring me the stuff for the flyers and I'll take it from there. Sounds like a plan, Kaishir. Custom deliveries unlocked for Kaishir. Alright, so back to the Crystarium now. Welcome back. We are given to understand a new mayor has taken office in Yulmore. Indeed, our good friend Master Chai was elected by popular vote and, after some considerable soul-searching, chose to accept the post. It is a shame you weren't able to attend his inaugural speech, though I have no doubt you will see more of him in the future. But tell me, how fared you in preparing the White Aura site? Our work did not proceed quite as expected. In your absence, we had a frank discussion on the principles of soul transference and concluded at length that White Aura site was ill-suited for our purposes. But Urianshe, did you not say that compared to the massy soul of an Ascian, the stone could house one of ours with ease? That I did, and armed as we are with Becklug's invaluable insight, would indeed prove a trifling matter, were we to disregard the inviolable link twixt mind and soul. A link which would, we did belatedly realize, be weakened most perilously in the process of rendering our souls dormant, as Auracite doth require. Thus, the shedding of these fleshly simulacra and the surfeit of ether which compriseth them would in all likelihood deprive us of our psyches as well. It would theoretically be possible to channel your minds into the Auracite instead, but we would more than likely sacrifice your souls in the process. Which is why we have abandoned that plan, and instead devoted our time to finding a means by which mind and soul might be transported together. Then we are no closer to a solution than when we first began. It is a vexing conundrum indeed, but one for which the Crystal Exarch has posited a most intriguing solution. When our discussions turned to the transference of memories and the psyche, I could not help but be reminded of a technique with which I have personal experience. Anne, do you recall what we learned of my eyes from our encounter with Doga and Une? I speak of the royal eye of the Allagan imperial line, gifted to my forebears through the blood and memories of the ancient Allagans. It is by this gift that I am able to control the Crystal Tower. If we were to gain an understanding of the technology by which the Allagans were able to accomplish this transference, perhaps then we could keep mind and soul together. Imagine, if you will, a device like unto a soul crystal, replete not only with our worldly memories, but also the bountiful energies of the soul. That is our current avenue of investigation, and we will follow it wheresoever it leads. While we are thus engaged, I think it best that Anne return to the source and inform Kryl and the others of our findings. Agreed. I imagine Tataru will be relieved to hear we've made progress of a sort. Then I would beg leave to relay our findings unto Thancred and Reen, and to assist where I may in their investigation of the empty. Yes, please do. Should we have need of your counsel, we will not hesitate to summon you. Give our regards to Tataru, won't you? Anne, you're back! How did everything go in the first? Wait, don't tell me. Kryl will be here shortly and she'll want to hear it too. She's just tending to the others. Their bodies, I mean. Gods, I don't think I'll ever get used to saying that. Anyway, you can tell us everything the moment she gets here. And upon speaking with Tataru, several cutscenes will play. Alright, here we go. Recommend that we set aside sufficient time. Yep, we'll go ahead and do this then. Wait for Kryl's return. Yes.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I've carried out the treatment as per Master Matoya's instructions. It should slow the destabilization of their corporeal ether quite significantly. But tell me, how fare our friends in the first?
Well, you see, it's kind of like this.
So this Becklug's the first to lead an authority on soulcraft, are they? Sounds promising.
And Urianger's proffered solution of white auracite is rather ingenious now that I think of it. Well, while they press on with their preparations, you may rest assured we will continue to do our part here.
Oh, you're back. And none the worse for wear, I see.
Estinian! Oh, thank the gods! We've been worried sick. Did you lose your link pearl or something?
The situation in Garlemald has become more complicated. I was making my escape from the capital when I ran into one of yours, Riol. He thought it best we come straight here.
More complicated how?
Where to begin? After entering the Empire via Razat Han, I went about my mission of investigating Black Rose. It was then, inside a provincial factory, that I encountered the one who styles himself Shadow Hunter, Gaius Baelsar. Our goals being apparently aligned, we joined forces and ventured on into the heart of the capital, to the very Imperial Palace itself. There, we found a man whom all assumed dead. But his soul lives on, and he has wrested back his flesh. Xenos ye Galvus. Nor did the surprises end there, for no sooner had we arrived than he murdered his sire in cold blood. The Emperor is dead. This sent Gaius into a rage, and he charged in, blade drawn.
What's wrong?
I've seen him in action, his body at least. You will not best him alone. Nay, death will not come easily to that thing. If you would join me, then by all means. For what good it will do. The Black Wolf and the Azure Dragoon. I suppose this might suffice. Come then. Ah, the simple pleasure of one's own flesh. Truly, there is no place like home. Abomination. Whatever he is, Anne was barely a match for him. If we stay here much longer... Emperor Varus, your radiance, are you all right? We may wear out our welcome. Your radiance! No! Must even the most middling of sport be spoiled? The world conspires to bore me. But I have no cause to remain. I leave these vermin to you. Xenos! Well, any bright ideas? Just one. Your radiance! The intruders have taken flight. I repeat, the intruders have taken flight. Deploy all available Magitech armor. We cannot let them escape. we go. Let's see what we got here. Combos, dive, and a heal. Alright. There we go. Over here. Come over this way. Nicely done, guys. All right, see you outside then. Well, well, someone's been busy. Volatile prototype Arch Ultima. And you would bar my way, would you? So be it. Come, Nidhogg, lend me your strength. And our skills have changed. Let's see. That's a damage over time. 600 to all nearby enemies, as well as enemies in proximity to those initially affected. Okay. And Star Diver. AoE. And then our attack, which also absorbs some damage, so that's convenient. Alright, so that's going to be damage, dot, roar, which we'll do, and then AoEs. Okay. Let's see, let's start it off with the jump. bit here, I guess. Vulnerable, huh? There comes the limit break.
Taste my lungs!
Mmm, delicious. Garleans in their machina. Now, where are you, Gaius?
Are you all right?
Peer into my past, did you?
Well, I didn't quite relive the experience as you did, but I bore witness to it all.
I'm still not sure what I think of this gift of yours. But no matter. Our confrontation was cut short when the Imperial Guard arrived. It was then that Xenos took his leave, citing boredom.
To think their research into the Echo could bear such fruit. Escaping death, jumping from one body to the next, and returning to his own after all this time. He is an Scion in all but name.
It beggars belief, aye. But no more than a hero traversing the rift between worlds. My concerns are far more prosaic. With the Emperor dead and the Crown Prince missing, the Empire is in disarray. Until order is restored, assuming it even possible, we needn't fear an Imperial reprisal. And for reasons of his own, Xenos took it upon himself to rid the world of Black Rose. Riol has already gone to apprise the Alliance leaders of these developments. We may leave the matter in their hands for now.
Then perhaps we have seen the last of the fighting at Gimlet. Though, if it comes to civil war, I cannot help but fear for the provinces. I'd nearly forgotten to ask. What became of Gaius? Did he not escape with you?
That he did, but we parted ways shortly after leaving Garlemald. He claimed another threat had arisen which demanded his attention. He didn't elaborate, but the absence of some device or other in the capital gave him reason to believe they're planning something. Lest you worry, I believe he has well and truly shed the Black Wolf's pelt. Conquest is no longer his objective. We may safely leave him to his own devices.
Well, it's nice to have one less foe to worry about, even if we do have a mysterious new threat to look out for instead. Speaking of which, I'll see that Riel and Al Shinobi are made aware. Though we still know next to nothing, it can't hurt to be vigilant.
Well then, with Black Rose nipped in the bud, I believe I've fulfilled my part of the bargain.
That's true, but with the Archons still slumbering away, we were hoping you might agree to stay with us for a little bit longer.
Sorry, but I'm not inclined to extend my contract. Gaius isn't the only one with business to attend to.
Thank you for your help then, Estinian. I see why Alphino admires you so.
Farewell, my friend. See that you don't make a habit of dozing off in battle.
I suppose we should all be getting on then. As ever, we will see to the Archon's needs. In the meantime, why not get some rest? You've more than earned it. Go on.
You must be shattered after all that hopping back and forth between worlds. Why not stay here and rest for a while? I'm sure Beck Lug can manage without you. They've got enough Scions to help them, if you ask me. Meanwhile, in Garlemald, traitors, you would dare deny Lord Nerva the throne? Onward, before this day is done, victory shall be ours. Boring, boring, boring. Do you think? I find it amusing. Like dogs herding cattle to the slaughterhouse. That hue. Your soul is... Who are you? Before your majesty, I am but another dog, lost in want of a new master. A hunting dog, if you should wish it so. For I know full well the prey you would seek next. Zodiarch. Meanwhile, in Yulemore in the First, did you hear? The mayor's reopening Daedalus Stoneworks, and they're looking for laborers. There's talk of resettling some of the old abandoned villages, too. They're even laying on free Talos to help anyone willing to make the move. Free Talos? Ha! We'd best get packing. Steady work, board, and lodging. If that's not a recipe for hope, I don't know what is. Oh? Yes. So long as I yet live, I would see that feeble flame rekindled. It is my destiny to see our dream fulfilled. Black and white. Old enemies, new threats. And, my, what a pleasant surprise! If you've come to inquire after the Archons, fear not. Master Matoya's treatment has proven effective in stabilizing their corporeal ether. We mustn't grow complacent, however. Potent though these magics may be, they are not without limits. We can only hope they afford us enough time for the Crystal Exarch to complete his work. If only we could go with you to the First and help. Pardon the interruption, but I come bearing urgent news. Ah, Anne, it has been far too long, my friend. Hey, Maxima. Forgive me, I don't believe we have been formally introduced. Maxima, former Garlean ambassador. I remain here in Eorzea under the auspices of Commander Alden, offering what counsel I can in the hopes of resolving the present conflict with the Empire. Ah, yes. I have heard stories of a defector from Garlemald, but never mind that. You said you have urgent news? Indeed. As you may have heard, the Imperial capital is in turmoil, and a sizable portion of the Garlean forces have been recalled from the Gimlet Dark. With their numbers so greatly diminished, the main host of the Alliance has withdrawn, leaving the Alamegan resistance to keep watch over the border. And it is there we have welcomed a most unexpected visitor who claims that this de-escalation may belie growing dangers and unforeseen threats. Commander Alden has arranged for an impromptu meeting to discuss these revelations. He has also requested a representative of the Scions attend as well, though it was clear to whom he wished I extend this invitation. It would seem time is of the essence. Well, you'll not be attending this meeting alone. Though I am not as well versed in the affairs of city-states as our comrades, I see no reason to burden a single Scion with all this. Yes, of course. Then we must make for the Alamegan quarter with all haste. Well, what are you waiting for? Get going, you two. And that's where we will finish our stream for today. Let's see here. We'll pick back up here tomorrow morning and continue on through the patches for Shadowbringers. See how far we can get tomorrow.